Hello, this is my rebuttal to Gina Myers, who argues that globalization has helped make the world more peaceful and just. Gina mentions that globalization promotes more transparency when it comes to foreign trade, which can allow the countries within the negotiation to see exactly what their outcome will be within that trade. I do not entirely agree with this argument because there is not a single global authority that is overseeing whether or not transparency standards are being properly enforced across the countries. Different regions also have a variety of different trade regulations regarding environmental protection, labor, and other aspects, which causes companies to abuse this lack of authority to exploit these differences and ambiguity in regulations around the world. I'd like to reiterate the point that Mills made in 2009 that the neoliberal regulations such as privatization and liberalization of markets only promote unhealthy competition by letting the market determine certain financial rules that cause more conflict within corporations. Gina also mentions that globalization has allowed a variety of countries to gain perspective on how to improve farming and agricultural production. And she used the example of how exporting goods from Latin America to the United States has allowed for the nation to adopt more sustainable ways of production. In theory, this trading and learning from one another is great, but only if it is done without exploitation of labor and resources. Pegg, in her article of 2003, established that with globalization comes the private sector's involvement in natural resources, which has contributed to the violent disputes and battles that have risen between developed and developing nations. The reason is because the private sector adopts unsustainable practices with regulatory frameworks that are not properly enforced to prevent environmental damage. Additionally, they tend to focus on short-term profits rather than long-term solutions and sustainability. I think that globalization is great in theory, but only if it is properly implemented and is monitored. Thank you.